All right, welcome everybody to Lions, Lies, and Billy Goats, episode 23. I'm Jeff. This is Paul. Um, hello.
Hello.
It's been like a week since the election, but the Eagles are on right now, so it's that Thursday night. And right before you hit record, Paul, did you hear what I said about so you're a musician? What's that, McMagic? I ain't no musician. Have you seen that?
No.
No way. There's a you have to add it in after I tell you about it. There's a podcaster is interviewing some girl who's a musician.
Oh yeah, I have seen that. Yeah. Yeah,
What's that?
that's hilarious. That chick
Think,
is so stupid.
think. What is that? I don't think.
Yeah. No, I'm not a magician. I didn't say magician. I said musician. No, I'm
Musician.
not none of that either.
I heard
Oh,
what you said. I heard
but
what you said.
you do music.
That's amazing. I didn't know that about you,
What do you know?
that you're a musician. But that's why I'm interviewing you today, so I can get to know you.
So I'm a musician. What the fuck that mean? Make magic or something? What is musician?
I think you're confusing that.
Yeah, I'm not no musician.
I-
I make music. I make
I-
music. And that's not all I do. I make music, I act. I'm a TV star too, a young mogul.
Just really quick, I think you're confusing.
I'm not confusing nothing because you don't know. You thought that all I was a magician or whatever the fuck you said.
See, that's what I think you think I said. I said musician, not magician.
I don't think, baby.
But
I don't think. What is that? That's ghetto. I don't think. I know.
So you
Think.
I didn't say magician, Suki. I said musician. And I think you are a musician.
No, baby. I do music.
So you just really quick, for the record, could you say you don't think you're a musician?
I'm not none of that.
But then after that, you just said I do music.
Yeah, I do music.
So in other words,
Yeah.
you're a musician.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
So so a little bit of an update. Obviously it's been a while. Trump obviously winds up winning the election in a landslide. How do you feel about that?
What are you gonna do? I'm but it could have been worse. It could have been her.
Oh, absolutely.
But he's already backing out on all the things I liked about him besides Tulsi Gabbard. What did RFK get? I didn't even bother to look.
They gave him the HHS position, which is like health. I don't
Health
know.
and social, whatever.
Yeah, I think it was whatever initially they were going to give him, like the health department / food department, I guess.
All right. It's funny that he wants to cut government, but he has to add a department to then cut more government because he has to add the Elon and Vivek.
Oh, the Doge department,
Yeah.
the Department of Government Efficiency. We'll see.
So I like the Tulsi pick. Obviously,
I love Tulsi.
I think that'd be cool.
If she were
And
running for president, I'd have voted for her.
I would have voted for her too. I would have voted for her. I would have voted for RFK. I would vote for Vivek too. Vivek.
Yeah, I like Vivek.
Not over RFK or Tulsi though. I would have voted for one of them anyway. I watched the new Sean Ryan had a video with the guy Higgins or Huggins or whatever. He's going to be SecDef, Secretary of Defense.
Oh, Holman. I think
No, is that Holman?
I thought it was like Tim Holman or something.
Oh, maybe. But anyway, his is a long episode and it's pretty good. I kind of like the guy. Apparently, he's I don't know who it is because he's from Fox, and like I don't watch Fox. One, I don't have cable, so unless it comes up in like the algorithm
Hmm.
and somebody's talking about Fox, you know what I mean? But like I didn't like Tucker either when he was on Fox. I just ignored him. I assumed that he's on Fox and I didn't care what he had to say. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
all the same things that Fox says. It wasn't until he left that or when he was starting to leave, I saw a couple things and I was like, all right, maybe. And then we left, obviously. Yeah, he went a little crazy. He's a little like too much Jesus right now.
Well, I think there's reasoning for that.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's just their thing. Yeah. So anyway, you should watch the Sean Ryan. It's good.
I like
It's
Sean Ryan.
Yeah.
I
the
like
guy-
Tucker a lot too. I've said some terrible things about Tucker in the past,
Well-
not really knowing anything about Tucker, just parroting more talking points and edited stuff. And I'm
Exactly.
sorry, Tucker. I actually can't find a single thing that I disagree with Tucker about nowadays.
I used to think Russell Brand was the same. I thought he was like a whacked out liberal. It turns out he's not.
He was, and he's open about that. He was definitely part of the machine, and they loved him. You know,
That's
they
true.
and yeah. Then one day he woke up, and yeah. I'm not
Have
sure
you?
about Russell. I like him overall, but
There's that. There's that.
I'm gonna wait to see when some of these lists come out.
Speaking of those people, have you seen the movie with Get Him to the Greeks with
No,
those
no, I
guys?
never saw that. I
Oh
always hear
man,
good stuff about it though.
it's gonna be hard to watch it because now you know all that shit. But before, when you really didn't think about it, you didn't care. Like Puffy's funny, man, and the movie's pretty funny.
Okay.
So I like. I watched it a couple times. But
Um, there's a movie that just came out recently. We had it in our theater. I can't recall the name of it, but it actually, I think it's Zoe Kravitz, Lenny Kravitz's daughter. I think was like one of the producers or something on it.
she's from Dune, right?
She's
She's the
from,
chick,
I know her from X Men. She's in First
right,
Class.
same chick from Dune.
Isn't that Zendaya? I think.
Oh,
I think that's the chick who plays Mary Jane in the Tom Holland Spider-Man
you love
movies.
me, Mary Jane.
Yeah, that too.
Do, do, do. Should play that song.
Anyway, the movie is supposed to basically a bunch of women go to this rich person's mansion and events transpire after that. And people are saying it's actually very similar to what was happening at the Diddy parties.
Is Channing Tatum in it?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
seen that yet. I want
I
to,
haven't seen it, but yeah, people are saying that it's very similar.
and I want to see that movie with Josh Hartnett, Trapped, when he's in the hockey, like the Taylor Swift concert.
Oh yeah, we had
Like,
that.
oh, I get a serial killer, and it turns out to be him. That looks cool.
Yeah, we had that. I didn't see it. I just saw Heretic last night, and I saw Smile 2 last week.
What's Heretic?
It's a Hugh Grant movie. Basically, it's these two Mormon girls that show up at his doorstep, and he invites them in. And long story short, it has a lot to do with theology, and basically he traps them in the house, and events happen.
Is it based on a true story?
Nah, not that I know of. Although I'm sure that has happened to some varying degree, unfortunately,
So
over
what?
the
Like,
years.
so it's like he kidnapped the two chicks that knocked on his front door and then did some wild shit.
Essentially, yeah. I don't want to spoil it, but
Yeah. Well, I don't care. Oh
well, you
yeah,
probably won't watch it because you're not
yeah,
really into horror. But
that's not my shit at all.
no, I know. But anybody that's listening, I don't want to ruin it for him. But it was
Yeah.
good. I didn't like the ending, but that's just my take on it.
Bring up the squirrel thing.
Okay. I will
So
say Hugh Grant is a very convincing villain. This is the second time in recent memory that I've seen him play the villain, and he does a really good job of it.
You always wanted us to get caught. No, I wanted you and Simon to get caught, but he managed to escape somehow.
All these years together, and you double cross us for this witch?
Never put your trust in a con man.
have you seen the Guy Ritchie movie, The Gentleman,
No, I heard about it.
with Matthew McConaughey and Colin Farrell's in it?
Okay.
But it's kind of like it has the feel of Snatch because it's the same director, but
Oh, yeah, yeah.
uh, it's decent. But he's in that. I came across this article, and in 1918 in California, somehow they got overrun with squirrels. Like, squirrels are an invasive species. It was a ground squirrel or some shit like that. But in 1918, all the men are off fighting war, so the town has these little spring drive here for a week. The kids can go out and people can go out and kill squirrels, and they got paid for bringing back dead squirrels.
Okay. Interesting.
But if go to the next one with the picture, so if you read it, it's like they're like showing the kid how to use poison. They're letting kids shoot them,
Oh, yeah, I see that.
and a young girl, got the most. She had like 3,800, and then the first boy had like 3,700. They got like 100,000 squirrels.
I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of disturbing. Slay the mother squirrel during breeding
Yeah, right.
season
Look at
right
that straight
now.
up propaganda. But they were comparing it to like some of the political cartoons because the men were fighting in the trenches of Europe in World War One. They had like cartoons of like kids fighting squirrels in platoon, like in the trenches.
Wow.
But when I looked it up, I ended up getting with AI ones. So when you come across the AI, it's not the originals, obviously. There's a bunch of dead ones
That's pretty wild.
just for 1 week.
We were I think we were telling me about it briefly yesterday, like we didn't go into detail. It reminds me kind of what the Catholic Church did with cats.
All right, hold on though.
Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So back in that time, the squirrels were destroying the crops because they're, like I said, invasive species. So $30 million worth of crops back then, which is about 480 million today, give or take. Um, so that was a problem. They needed to save the crops because the men weren't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they got the kids in. But I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. But it reminded me of the story I told earlier in one of our shows about the village in Japan years ago that was paying people to kill the rats, but only had to bring back the tails. So they
Mm.
were cutting off the tails and had a bunch of tailless rats running around town. So what did they do? Get a bunch of cats to kill the rats?
I forget exactly what the premise was. You can look it up if you're interested. But yeah, it was something like for some reason the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, this is like a while back. This is like the Black Plague time, which I think maybe led into the Black Plague, but my memory's a little hazy on that. For some reason, the Catholic Church just demonized cats, and so they urged people to go out and kill them. Furthermore, they also that's when the association with cats and witches comes about, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um so yeah, I think there was a bunch of stuff going on there if I recall correctly, and then obviously it also just gave them carte blanche essentially to just kill women, you know. Oh, she's a witch, you know, for whatever reason.
I got a fun fact for you. Back in the day, before like the check your ancestry shit, like ancestry.com.
Yeah.
Remember how my mom used to go to all the graveyards and like write letters and find like our people
Yeah.
throughout whatever. I can't remember the name of the particular person, but somehow, somewhere up the line, we got somebody in the Salem witches. I'm not sure if it was a jury person or one of the girls.
So you got some witchcraft going on in your family.
No, that was all a big lie, man. Remember Salem witch trials? The girls were making it up and shit.
Uh is it?
Oh, I don't know. I remember the movie with Winona Ryder, and I remember like 2 seconds of it.
Well, again, I think if you want an easy excuse to burn people at the stake, that's one way to go about it. Again, I'm not saying that that's what happened in every case.
What was the reasoning behind it? Like, what was the incentive to burn someone at the stake?
Well, it could be any reason. Say, like for example, the
About the Salem witch thing, in years
yeah,
ago.
in
The one,
ancient Rome. Well, say
no, it
for
happened. It happened in America. The
yeah, it
Salem witch
happened
trial.
everywhere. Yeah. So I mean, there could be multiple reasons for that. You know, if you refuse to convert or whatever, or they just didn't like what you were saying or doing, or maybe you did something that they didn't understand. You know, I don't really, I don't know, and I don't want to like dive into that because I don't have a whole lot of information on witches as it relates to the Catholic Church. I just remember reading something about that months back
Do
about
you
how they
know?
went on this crusade to kill cats and it got lumped in with witches. I don't know.
So the Winona Ryder movie is drawing a blank for you.
I haven't seen it. No.
I think we had to watch it in school.
If I saw it, I don't remember it.
I feel like we watched it in school, or
But
maybe
yeah, it's
Little Women about witches.
what's that?
Little Women about witches.
I don't know. I never saw that either. I have met a couple witches in real life. Two
I
that I
told you
can recall.
my barber said that she met a lizard person. The guy said he was a lizard person.
Oh, reptilian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing to to take away is like when I say the word witch, everybody thinks of, the black hat and, green skin from the Wizard of Oz, and, they're practicing dark magic. And yeah, I think that there are those witches, maybe not the green skin.
Oh, that's either a touchdown or very close. That sucks. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Maybe not the green skin, unless maybe they're reptilian, like the person at the barbershop
I
knows.
think of two different kinds of witches. First witch that comes to mind is Angelica Houston and the Little Mice Kids.
Oh yeah, what was the name of that movie? Yeah, that movie traumatized me as a kid. The ending when her mask comes off. Oh my god, what the heck? And how did she hide that big ass nose under that mask?
And then God, what is the name of that fucking movie? I think it's a book actually. And then the other one I think is, have you ever seen the movie Four Rooms?
4 Rooms?
4 Rooms. It's a it's like a Quentin. It's like four different scenarios put together in a hotel on New Year's Eve, and the bellhop is why am I drawing a blank with the names? Reservoir Dogs. The cop in Reservoir Dogs. The British dude.
Oh yeah, I forget that guy's name. The one that gets his ear cut off. I hate that scene.
No, that's the cop. The guy who's the undercover cop.
I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs in a long time. Who's in Reservoir Dogs? Tom Sizemore, right?
Why am I drawing a blank on this guy's name right now?
What's his name from Pulp?
He's in a whole shitload of movies. He's like
Harvey Keitel is also in that.
Harvey Keitel, Michael Madsen.
Oh, Michael Madsen. That's what I was
Steve Buscemi.
Yep.
And the other tall, skinny English motherfucker.
Oh no, hang on, I'll look it up real quick.
I want to say it looks like Tim something.
I think the Angelica Houston movie, by the way, is called Witches.
Yeah, it might just be something simple like that.
Oh, Tim Roth?
Yeah, Tim Roth.
Got it.
Okay, so he's in it, and he's the bellhop. And over the night, he answers 4 different calls from the hotel. And each room is a different scene done by a different director with a different cast, except for Ted.
Okay.
So one of the rooms is a bunch of witches, but there's like 7 of them. But one of them is like Madonna, one is Janine Garofalo, and he ends up like the one little dumb witch like needs his semen, so he ends up getting that, and they're running around the big cauldron with the man semen to make their thing. So I think of Madonna, and them making the big brew, or Hocus Pocus, I guess.
Hocus Pocus, yeah, Wizard of Oz, obviously. They're obviously witches are iconic for several reasons, but yeah, I've met a couple of them, and I think the formal term for it now is Wiccan. I think it's Wiccan. If you're unfamiliar, anybody can Google it.
Where did that originate? Isn't that like Celtic?
Yes. And I think like some dude like 100 years ago or whatever like founded this Wiccan religion, if you want to call it that. I'm not sure if it qualifies as a religion. And then a lot of people started practicing it, but witchcraft is obviously old. Whether you believe it's fake or real or whatever, that's up to you.
Yeah, I mean the Vikings used to have that shit, and
yeah, it's very old. All of the spiritual stuff, none of that shit's new. It's all old.
Native Americans, all that crap.
Yeah.
Voodoo.
Yes. Yeah. Every culture has some kind of witchcraftian attachment to it, for lack of a better term. But the general thing is that, right? Like, again, most people think like witches are like evil and satanic for whatever. And yes, I think that that's true. But that doesn't necessarily identify all witches. Some witches are just like forest witches, and they do rituals and cast spells to protect the animals in the forest and things like that. Yeah, so they're not all like
the spirit catcher things.
Oh, dream catchers?
Here you go.
Yeah, I have one. That's a Native American thing, but yeah, I have that too.
Same shit, different toilet.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Again, it's spirituality, I guess, at the end of the day.
Wait, oh, so fast.
What?
Returner.
Oh.
So, speaking of going back, did you show all the pictures of the AI squirrels fighting in the trenches? It's just the
You only
one.
sent one AI squirrel.
Oh man, there was like 4.
Oh, this
Don't
is
worry.
bullshit. Hang on, let me look it up again. I'll add that later.
Yeah, but what made me think about it, that also that the story about the squirrels tells you, like, back in the day, they trusted fucking 10 and 12-year-olds to go out and kill a bunch of fucking squirrels. You know what I mean? Imagine that happening today. Like, they don't let these kids do shit. They don't trust them with nothing except for changing their gender.
That's facts.
Devontae Smith, baby. Keeping those toes in bounds. Gotta respect that.
Yeah, I didn't even see these. I'm sorry, they were hidden in
Field
the email you
awareness.
sent.
Field awareness.
But that's funny. Yeah, right there. Looks like a Disney movie gone wrong, or maybe gone right, depending on how you look at it.
I'm not gonna remember the name right now. Have you seen uh it's an old cartoon, but it's like fucked up rabbits.
Oh yeah, I know of it.
It's kind of in the same ballpark as Secret of Nim, but like it's crazier.
It always shows up on like most disturbing cartoons shown to children, type videos. You know, it's always in like the top 10 where the rabbits are all dying and stuff.
Yeah, it was like a rabbit war, and they're all like eating each other and treacherous shit.
The field. The field. It's covered with blood.
Blood? That is silly.
When I was younger, or when we were younger, and like I first had the TV in my room, and I would stay up and watch like stupid movies late at night before like cable. Um, and in the '80s they had all late '70s, early '80s, those B-rated movies,
Yeah,
like
like on
Attack.
USA.
Yeah, at late at night though,
Yeah,
and it'd be like Attack of the Killer Bees or the Killer Crabs.
Toxic Crusaders, Swamp Thing, like
Nope,
all those cheesy.
it was a good show.
Which one?
Swamp Thing.
Oh, Swamp Thing. Yeah, I watched it.
It was a good show. But these are like B-rated old movies, and there's one called Night of the Lupus, and it was rabbits the size of wolves that were eating the people.
Mm.
Yeah, they had crab. I know there's crabs. I know there's bees. I know there's birds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
just shit movies that were on TV that there's nothing else on to watch.
Nowadays we have Sharknado and all these other, ridiculous concepts. But they must garner a following because they keep making more of these movies, so people must be watching them.
But I mean, when we were younger, there was like I watched certain shit because I was forced to. You know what I mean? I would go through all the channels until I found either something I wanted to watch or something I would settle on.
Yeah, because we had limited
You know?
options. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why I used to watch The Honeymooners sometimes. I'm like, it's the best thing on Thursday nights at 1 o'clock.
I actually like the Honeymooners, but
So well, I've learned to like it.
oh,
And then I
I
learned
always
that
liked it.
I learned that the Flintstones is based on them.
Yeah, I just read that the other day. Actually, my favorite black and white show is still the Three Stooges. It's never not funny to me. I don't know what it is, just that slapstick comedy or whatever. I like it.
I like the my favorite bit because it comes up in economics all the time is I'll you $10 and they keep passing around the same $10.
The $20 you owe me.
Oh, yeah? Well, I only got 10, so here's 10, I owe you 10.
Thanks.
Hey, Mo, you owe me 20.
Well, here's 10, and I'll owe you 10.
You owe me 20. Here's 10, I owe you 10. Here's the 10 I owe you.
Here's the 10 I owe you.
Here's the 10 I owe you. Good, now we're all even.
Yeah, it's
So I wanted to say about because I just saw a commercial with Beyonce that Kamala's campaign spent $1 billion, right? But they paid 10 billion for or 10, excuse me $10 million to get Beyonce to show up, and all she didn't even sing. And then they paid that Stallion chick, and then they paid Lizzo, and then they paid Eminem. But Eminem got the least amount of all of them.
yeah. He got 1.8 mil. I saw
Yeah,
that list. Yeah.
I saw that, and I was thinking, I'm like, I don't even know who the one girl is. The one who went at the DNC, Stallion, whatever her full name is.
I know of her. I
And I
don't think.
only know Lizzo because she like blew up on whatever, being a big girl or something. They hurt her feelings. The people got mad.
Yeah, and from what I saw, she's actually losing weight and stuff. And South
Okay,
Park seems to have motivated her. So I mean, that's actually not a bad thing. I don't think. But yeah, I only know Megan the Stallion by her name. I don't think I've ever actually heard her speak. I couldn't name one song that she's on. Cardi B, I've also heard the name and I never actually heard her speak until the other day, and I
Oh
don't think that
god.
I need to hear her speak again.
Oh
Uh,
god, she's terrible, dude.
she has zero vocabulary.
And a lot of y'all talking about like, oh, why you reading it from a phone? Bitch, I had to write that shit down because I had to make. Bitch, I'm 32 years old, bitch, and I have 3 kids. My mind be fucking raising all goddamn day, bitch. Like it's like sometimes, bitch, I be arguing on my shower.
And when she first came out, I only know this because my wife showed it to me years and years ago. When I don't like Cardi B, but sometimes she's like funny. But she used to make that sound like whatever, and she was like doing it on the Jimmy Fallon show or something. It was kind of funny.
I mean, it was funny when I was listening to her talk the other day because
Oh,
she's got like 3 brain cells going on up there. She's not
when
very
she
bright.
when she first came out, she made like this sound. I want to say it's like kind of like Snoop in The Wire, but you don't fucking watch The Wire, so it won't make any sense. So you have to add the little clip in right now of Snoop going, "Ew."
Oh, got you.
But yeah. Anyway, on yeah, I guess she didn't have the teleprompter wasn't working, so she just sat there like
Yep, I saw that. Well,
32 days, y'all. 32 days just like Kamala, right? That's funny, right there.
Well, not only did I see her on the stage, obviously, when she was paid to show up, but I saw her responses because they made their way from whatever platform she put them on to X.
Mm-hmm.
And her responses to the it's just like it's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. Yeah.
But
If
yeah,
I never hear her speak again, I won't lose any sleep over it.
even when she was reading from the cell phone, I'm just like, come on, dude. I'm like, if that was your party, I'd be like, that's like I don't know, that would just rub me the wrong way.
Well, I guess that's what we're doing now, right? Like that's what they thought was going to win them the election. Having celebrities endorse them and then paying celebrities to say something that isn't authentic. Again, if
Yeah.
Cardi B was speaking authentically, what the fuck you need a teleprompter for? If you're talking from the heart, if you're what you say is what you actually mean. But
They
clearly
didn't
that's not the case.
they didn't really have a like a campaign. There wasn't like she said she's gonna not tax tips like Trump said. And then but they didn't really support like any position. You know what I mean? It was just like it really was just like they're bad.
Well, they had zero policies, I think is what
Yeah,
you're getting at, right?
that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Like their whole campaign was just how many celebrities can we get to endorse us? How bad can we bash Trump and make him look like, Hitler?
Right.
And
And then look
that's
what happened. If you look at the numbers of who voted for who, because they can show you all that shit, there's a reason that those people, whoever they might have been, voted for Trump this time. Maybe
yeah.
they're tired of hearing that shit. Maybe they're tired of you blaming everything on them.
Well, I'm sure you've probably seen some of the recent clips, on like The View and all of these other left extreme left-wing platforms, where they're all trying to like, come to terms with how they lost the election. And I don't see very many of them getting it right. It's just amazing to me to listen to, oh, we lost because this and that. Like, no, that has nothing to do with anything. You
Yeah,
know,
the this and that is
they were saying it was misogyny.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking to my mom the other day. I'm so like, are you telling me that more than half the country is misogynistic? Like, really? You believe that? Like, that's not true. Come on.
Like there's like people on Facebook, dude, like people that we know. Like I've been not battling, trying to talk to Ian Face's brother from back in the day. They won the one in our class.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like also straight up like it's all greedy companies. It's private equity firms, and he's like, they're screwing up healthcare. It's all their fault. I'm like, dude, like it's like, how do you not put two and two together?
It's programming, I think, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if it's they're asking the government who made the laws to allow these companies to cheat to make more regulations for the companies to cheat. It's like the answer, we have a bad government, so the answer is more government. We need more regulations to fix the
Well,
regulations.
that's the programming, right?
But instead of being like, here's the problem, how do we fix it? It should be, how did we get here and where did we screw up to make this happen?
Yes.
And I'm trying to be like, dude, like it's not greedy companies. You're like, stop thinking of it like that. You're not even like in the same ballpark.
Well, again, like you said, they're just trying to treat the symptoms and not actually discover the root cause of why this is occurring in the
Yeah.
first place. You know, one of the other things that, again, when I'm watching like The View and stuff, oh, it's misogyny and it's racism. So, okay, so now you're saying that most of the country is racist? And how do you explain Trump getting all the Hispanic vote? Or not all of it, but he got a decent chunk of Hispanic voters. So now all the Hispanic people are racist too? I don't understand where you guys are going with this. It makes no sense.
But the things they say, they're like, like people on Facebook that I see, multiple people are like, you know, you don't know what you did to your sister. You don't know what you did to, all this shit. I'm like, yo, like there's so much you don't know about how that shit works to say that kind of shit. You're literally just, they got you all worked up and angry. And that's all you can hear is, and then you saying things like, I don't want to be friends with you. You're Republican. You voted for Trump. I hate you. I won't be your friend. And or you like shaming people, being like, you don't care about women's rights. You don't care about this. You are a misogynist. He's a racist. 34 felonies, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, would you stop using 34 felonies? I'm like, you don't even know what they are. You don't even know that they weren't felonies. They were all misdemeanors, and it's bookkeeping. And they were past the statute of limitations. So they made this shit up and made him felon after they tried to throw him in jail 100 times before that. Like, they still think Russiagate they still think Hunter Biden's laptop was all Trump.
Well, they're using that again now, or they're trying to. Did you see now they're saying that Tulsi is a Russian agent spy. Like, yo, she served in the military, right? Like, she'd have been court-martialed if she was a traitor.
Like, even the couple nights before the election, when Obama was out there trying to rally for people, right? He was like, he said there's good people on both sides of a race riot. And like, even Snopes has finally admitted that that's not what he said. But people have used it for so long that is what they think makes Trump a racist. When if you're like, what did Trump say that's racist? What did he actually say? I can look up a bunch of things that Joe Biden said, and I'm not saying Trump didn't say any. I'm like, I haven't seen him. You know what I mean? And they bring up the Chicago Park Five, the Central Park Five, right? When those 5 kids got falsely accused for attacking a woman in the park, and they were all underage, and the cops rounded them up because they were in the area, and then they kept them there for 22 hours. They didn't have their parents come in. They violated their rights up and down, right? So the cops told the press that we got these guys on lock, right? They're done. So the whole city turns against them, and Trump is like put an advertisement out, like in the paper, like being with everybody else in the city, criminalizing these kids that were railroaded, but like everybody didn't know that they were railroaded at the time. So now everybody who back then agreed with him can look back on it Monday morning quarterback and be like, oh, that was wrong. You know what I mean? But everybody was wrong. Like, everybody was wrong about fucking the sickness, the flu.
Yeah.
All that shit is bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
they're never gonna see it. They're never gonna see it.
I hope some of them will one day. Yeah, obviously, I think a lot of people did wake up. Again, you look at Trump's numbers. You look at the election numbers from 2016 to up until the current day, and yeah, a lot of people have jumped ship. And it's fair to say that a lot of those people are either Democrats or independents, you know.
Well, like I said before, he's already letting me down by a bunch of those cabinet picks.
Yeah, for some of them are very suspect.
Some of them are very, very bad.
You're talking about R and SA. Well, now Matt Gaetz gets the attorney general position. And I just saw this earlier where like some dude's trying to like I saw this a while back. Like allegedly they're saying that Matt Gaetz essayed a 17-year-old, right? A while back. That's what they're saying, right?
You ever notice they say that about every
They
GOP
do. That's
which
their
is
go-to story.
why when it comes up and they're like, you have to believe the victim. I'm like, you've been crying wolf on this man, on these guys, these particular group of colored hats for a very long time. And it's always that. It's always that.
That's their first go-to. And again, I don't want to like discount or discredit any, victims of SA or R, but the whole timing thing just doesn't make sense. So if you're saying that all of this time that, if you're saying that, this happened years ago and Gaetz essayed this girl, why is it all of a sudden now we're trying to push it into the courtroom now that he gets appointed attorney general? Why wasn't this important yesterday or last week?
It's the same argument with every other person that said it happened with Brett Kavanaugh. It happened with
Trump.
I can't remember. Yeah, always.
Yeah. So it really, again, I don't want to say that this person, I don't even know who the person is lying, but it really makes it hard for me to believe, because if this was the issue, then this would have been an issue back when it happened.
And then, unfortunately, is that because they use it as a smear campaign, knowing that it's can't be proven or it's false or it's suspect, but all you have to do is get it out there. That's enough to sway somebody's mind because they'll never actually look into the story. They assume it because they want it to be true. So it's automatically true. And even if it just fades away, no one ever apologizes for anything because the story just dies because it was wrong. People still remember the bullshit.
I think that's the idea. And again, me going back, that used to work on me.
That's the sad part, man. Like I'm telling you, when I was talking to Ian Faye's brother and our friend the union guy, like they both come at me with the same shit. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm like, you are just some straight up listening to the machine.
Well, that worked on me back in the day. Again, I just scroll through, I'd see the headline, I'd see Matt Gaetz, essayed 17-year-old, and in my head, I didn't even read the article. I'm already like, all right, this dude's no good. He's terrible. I won't vote for him. F this guy, whatever, went through my head. And I also remember having a couple conversations with you about like different things where, where I'm like, oh, well, such and such, such and such. And you're like, Paul, did you even read the article? Because if you had read the article, you wouldn't be saying that stupid shit that you just said. And you're absolutely correct. I didn't read the articles. I just read the headline.
Thank you. I was like that for a hot minute.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think that's
some of the even authors that I used to like. I read this book right here actually. This huge ass book on guerrilla warfare by Max Boot. Turns out he's like a war hawk, straight up war hawk.
Well,
but he's a big time journalist. He's like one of those he's old now, but like back in the day, he would have gone spent a month with the platoon, kind of like what was that show on HBO about the unit in Afghanistan or Iraq? Generation Kill. Have you seen that as a miniseries?
No.
Oh, it's badass. You'll like it. It's only like 6-8 episodes, maybe, and it's about a reporter for Rolling Stone magazine who spent a month with a unit. You know what I mean? And he palled around with the same Humvee, and he but it's very like military humor. You don't talk about like how those guys are over there and the way they talk about shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sure if you're deployed somewhere, you have to keep a sense of humor about something.
Yeah, but it's a dark humor that you have to have it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check that out. Generation Kill.
Generation Kill.
Yeah. Tell me about the moon.
What about the moon?
So you saw the moon during the day, and
I see the moon during the day all the time.
Okay, why is it reflecting off of the fucking sky? What's the answer?
That's what people tell me. Whether it reflects off the
You didn't even bother to look it up. You're just like, this sounds fishy, so I won't
I've
look
looked
it up.
it up, but it doesn't make sense. Like it's
What,
like our
what,
friend.
what does it say?
Well, it's like our friend said. It has something to do with the reflective surfaces of the ocean, and
Okay.
it, I don't know. I don't really want to get into it. I'm not like a flat earther. I just don't understand why I see the sun and the moon almost directly next to each other, or at least on the same side of the sky all the time here. Like all the time. I would say probably 4 out of 5 days a week here. I can see the moon and the sun. The sun's over here. The moon's right over here. Like I just,
Is it,
I'm not a
is it,
flat earther. I just don't get it.
let me ask you this. Is it like that? Was it like that before you moved there?
I actually never really paid much attention to it before.
Was it like that 10 years ago? Was it like that 30 years ago?
I don't know. I don't ever recall like seeing it in the past, which is maybe why I just kind of like, wait, like I don't know. I really don't know. I really just question it. So if I can see the sun and the moon and you're on the opposite side of the globe right now, can they not see the moon? Because obviously it would be nighttime, assuming I'm out there at, 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. in the middle of the day, essentially, and I can see the moon. What about the people on the opposite side of the globe? Can they see it?
But can't we only see the moon because of light? That's why there's the dark side of
Well,
the moon.
yeah, of course. That's the idea, is that the moon is, shines because the sun is reflecting off of it, which allows us to see it, right? Or at least
Right.
that's how I always interpreted it. I just don't, I don't know. I don't want to sound like an idiot, but when it comes to this shit, I am a fucking idiot. I don't get it.
You sound like an idiot.
I feel like an idiot when it comes
I
to this shit.
feel like if that wasn't normal, there'd be some reporting about it.
Again, it's just, hey, just trust the experts. Our friend told me to go back to third grade science class. I mean, that's fine, but I just don't understand how that could be possible. But
Yeah.
it's not something that I really dwell on. It was just something that I shared with you and something that I asked our friend because I was curious about it. Whether the earth is round or flat to me makes no fucking difference. We're all here going to be doing the same shit we're doing anyway, so.
I never got into space like you guys did. Like I had a telescope when I was a kid, and I used to be able to name a few of the constellations, but now I can't even find the fucking Big Dipper or the Belt of Orion anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've had a fascination with space for a
Some
while.
blind shit. But I do like those crazy ass pictures from that new telescope. That shit is wild. Doesn't even look real.
Yeah.
Of like the faraway galaxies. It looks like fucking Phoenix Point, honestly.
Yeah. Some
just
of it's
doesn't-
wild.
It just doesn't look real at all.
If you're looking at a galaxy cluster, or like even like a miniature version of the universe, it's kind of strange. If you ever look at an iris, like the eyeball, it actually looks very similar. Interesting. I don't know what that means. I think it just means we're all connected.
That scientists can see galaxies billions and trillions of light years away, but motherfuckers can't figure out inflation. Fuck
Yeah.
outta here.
We don't even know what's under the ocean. Or
Well, yeah. That's the one part, right?
I think some people know what's under the ocean, but they're not telling the rest of us.
True, because then there's the argument that there's a little sabotage on that rich man's boat.
Just like some people know what's flying around in the skies, and they're not telling us. I'm sure you saw there was a UAP convention yesterday.
Well, it was yesterday. Yeah, I haven't watched.
Yeah.
What did I watch last night that was really good? The one I started today is a World War One. It's like a 3.5 hour chat with one of those guys who wrote a big ass book on World War One. So,
oh, cool.
One of the shows that I like. The guy with the long surfer hair. You know who I'm talking about. If I showed you his picture, you'd know.
Theo Vaughn?
No, Theo Vaughn's got short hair. This guy looks like
it's kind of long hair.
Long blonde curls, and he's on with like Schultz. I'll tell you, like on that talk show they have. I want to say his name is Danny Jones, but it's not Danny Jones.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. And Schultz is funny as hell, by the way.
I love Schultz. Yeah.
That dude cracks me up. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, for those of anybody who's interested, if you are unfamiliar with UAPs or maybe the ET community, or like you're just getting into it, you're kind of new to it, I would recommend watching it. If you're already initiated, like unfortunately from all the clips I saw, I didn't get any new information that I didn't already know. It's basically the same.
Who testified? And the same people?
Lou Elizondo, who I've seen multiple interviews of. I think it was four people, I think.
So who was who was there? Burchett and Jim Jordan?
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I just saw some of the clips. But I'm sure Anna Paul Luna was there, probably Burchett, because they're really into that. So is Gates, but I don't know if he was there yesterday.
It's funny that like
I think AOC was there as well.
because of who the people are testifying in front of Congress, because most of them are the machine. They're not elected; they're appointed positions. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That they can really just say no to Congress. You know what I mean? When Congress is like, "Tell me the truth," they're no, we're just not going to do that.
So that's what Burchett and Gates and Anna Paul Luna have been saying for a while now. That's
Yeah.
going back to last year. They showed up at one of the military contractors. I forget which one. I don't need to mention the name anyway.
And that's the problem because the contractor itself is technically private, right?
Which is illegal because they operate outside of Congress, right?
What do you mean?
So these military contractors, right?
Oh, but you can't. I'm saying is if a couple of people from Congress just showed up and were like, "Ha!" without a warrant,
They won't let
can't-
you in.
Yeah, but the question is like Congress can't walk into Fort Knox. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you can't. They wouldn't show like Ron Paul, those guys, the gold years ago. They're like, "Where's the fucking gold?" You know, and they kept like stalling and stalling and stalling.
Right.
And then they showed them some gold.
Well, that's the idea, right? If you're a public servant, like if you're a congressman or senator, whatever, you're supposed to be able to do the job for the people, right? So if you have a military contractor and you don't know what they're up to and you request to see it and they deny you permission,
That's who it was.
that's a problem, right?
The guy was on the interview, the one I watched last night. It was one of the guys from Blackwater, and he was one of the ones that was involved in that incident when a bunch of civilians got killed back in Iraq, and they ended up getting pardoned by Trump, but he got into the amount of he was talking about how when they're on Blackwater, they're doing Blackwater shit in the jungle or in outside the wire in Iraq, that the Iraqis and the Taliban stuff wouldn't fuck with them. But when the Americans came out, because they have different rules of engagement, they would fuck with the Americans. Because if they shot at Blackwater would just fucking light them up. You know what I mean? They would play aggressive all day long, which is why they got in trouble. But at the same time, they didn't get fucked with either. And they operate by different rules because they're private military contractors. But there's a lot more of that going on than you would think, than the normal person would think.
The normal person, yeah. Like, again, to the initiated, we already, we know a little bit about the military contractors, and they don't share any information on the grounds that it's a national security, thing. We can't share with you because it's a national security issue, but again, who decides that? And if that's going to be in the powers of the military contractors and their superiors, isn't that illegal? Again, because they're not appointed officials. These people are literally private companies that, get funded from our government. We basically pay for it, to do these things, but they're not sharing the information. I'm sure they share some of it with Congress. Oh, we're working on this, we're working on that. This rest of it's top secret.
Black budget stuff.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens with all of that. I'm not confident we're going to get any measure of disclosure that I'm going to be satisfied with, but maybe hopefully I'll be wrong. We'll see.
What about I know you wanted to get into whatever, but hold on. What do you think? Do you think that if Trump gets in, Trump is in, excuse me, if he makes it in, he's going to release the JFK files?
That's what he said. He said day one. He said that and the Epstein list.
it's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be.
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. They do that for danger too, because endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
And he said he's going to release Ross Ulrich.
Yeah, he should. And pardon Assange and pardon Snowden.
Well,
he said he was going to do all that too.
The Dave, he didn't say Snowden.
Oh.
Because I was listening to Dave Smith the other day when he was on Rogan. And he was, Joe had asked him about Assange. Excuse me, not Assange, about Snowden. And he made a joke. He's like, the intel community's still really mad at him. You know what I mean? Because he came out and proved that they were doing illegal shit that they said they weren't doing.
Yeah.
So the government doesn't like when you catch them lying and prove that they're lying. They don't forget.
Well, anybody that's mad about it, you already know is a machine puppet, and we should fire those people.
Well, again, who knows?
Yeah, I don't have the answers for all that. I hope Snowden gets pardoned. That guy's basically a hero. Came out, told us the government was spying on him, and his reward was to be essentially exiled to Russia, even though that's not exactly how it played out.
That's what that reminded me of. Thank you for because Snowden brought up the FISA warrantless searches and all that shit. Three of the people that Trump put on his shit the other day, his neocon cabinet members, were all people that when they were in the House or in the Senate, they signed to renew the FISA. It comes up every 4 or 5 years, and they gotta pass it again, but it always gets hidden inside something else.
Yeah, where they start lumping stuff together.
So they're the ones who are the part of the swamp is, well, most of the swamp is the overreaching arm of the intelligence agency.
Yep.
And the guys you put in charge to clean up the swamp all voted to give the intelligence agency the power to spy on everybody. So the question is, Trump was like, yo, did you vote to do that because it was in your best interest politically to keep being a politician? Or did you actually believe in that shit? Because now they're like, I won't vote for it again if you back me up, President Trump. You know what I mean? I was going along to get along before. Because you got to remember, a politician, once they're a politician, they're no longer us. They're part of the state.
Yes.
And they're people, and they have incentives, and they will do what's best for them.
The vast majority of them, yeah. Maybe Thomas Massey's an exception. Ron Paul would be an exception.
But Thomas Massey will come out and say he can get away with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a lot of the guys, they have donors who are like, you're going to vote this way.
Thomas Massey said that. He said everybody has an AIPAC handler.
Yeah, but it's not even AIPAC. It could be
be whatever, but yeah.
Why some of those bills are just why the fuck would you even do that? That obviously only helps one. The regulations, just more and more regulation. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well, from what I've seen and from what I understand, the intelligence agencies, they're in everything. They're all over the place. Everything from the election processes to UAP stuff to foreign affairs to you name it. And they're pretty much either involved in it or they have a lot of knowledge on it, or at least some knowledge.
So I don't know. I still think that I was watching the World War I thing before, and they were talking about how because the two alliances in World War I were from Europe, even though they were fighting each other, right? The war started because they had colonized the shit out of Africa. You know what I mean? So they were dealing with the uprisings and trying to control their African colonies. And the Brits in India and the Russians were in Afghanistan, and they were beefing with each other about business. So they ended up making a peace over that kind of made them peace in Europe. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And like the British and the French were beefing too because of like Nigeria and the Sudan and blah blah blah, because they had business next door. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of made a peace because England and France fucking hate each other forever.
Yeah,
But
they
then
were at war for on and off for hundreds of years. Yeah,
forever.
yeah,
So the
if not longer.
yeah, so they made those alliances based on proxy wars somewhere else in the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and then as those were going on, alliances were formed and they were building militaries to make sure that the other guy didn't get stronger. Rising tensions, someone gets popped, war,
Yeah.
which is kind of where we are right now.
Well, I know the catalyst for World War One was the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand or whatever.
Well, that's what kicked it off.
Yeah, I think that's just the straw that broke the camel's back, essentially. But yeah.
Because the German, Austrian, Hungary alliance were fucking with the Baltic states, and they all fucking hated each other, and kings, and they still had marriages and shit back then, and it was all that crap.
Right.
And that those secret alliances, backdooring or whatever, kicked it off. As soon as that happened, and this guy declared war on this guy, well, this guy has to declare war on this guy, and because of an alliance, this guy has to declare war. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the triple entente and the triple axis, triple entente, triple axis, went to war, and then World War II, and a whole other story, because it's World War One and World War II are basically just one continuous Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Essentially, yeah, continuation of where they had left off.
Book one's the war, book two is the middle, and book three is World War II. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm excited to finish that one out tonight.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I've been watching a lot of stuff on World War II. I shouldn't say a lot. I've been watching some things on World War II recently.
What do you watch when you watch it?
I just get a lot of clips on my feed. You know, whether it's speeches from Hitler or you know, and I don't know. I'm still in the same boat that we were, you know, the last time we talked about it. I'm not really sure what the hell happened there. I'm not denying anything. I'm just not sure.
Well, one of my it's not one of mine. It was definitely not an interest of mine to worry about the conspiracy theories with Hitler. You know what I mean? That's just not one of the things that I'm into when it comes to that shit. I know that the reason that it wasn't the story we were told. You know, hypothetically, he's in some crazy. I mean, he's crazy, but it was rational thinking.
Was he? Again, I don't know. It just, some of it, like, you know, especially like looking back at a lot of it just doesn't add up. Like, let's take some general stuff, right? So what was the thing they always told us, right? He wanted to establish this superior Aryan race, right? With blonde hair and blue eyes, right?
Yeah, but that came after, like, when the wars and shit started, he was actually trying to make peace, and then the English made the deal with the Polish, and the Polish took advantage, and there's a whole. There's more to it than that, but it wasn't like Hitler was like, you know what? I'm gonna take over the world today, and we're gonna figure out how we're gonna do it, and we're just gonna go run everybody over, and we're gonna kill a bunch of people. And
yeah, I don't think that's how it played out at all.
We're gonna take the bankers and the people we blame for all that stuff that happened to us before, and we're gonna whack them out, and then the little traveling gypsies and Brad Pitts and them, pikeys.
Now there is a problem with pikeys or gypsies.
What you doing, Potter? Get out the way back.
You can't really understand much of what is being said.
You tell me. Come about the caravan.
Mr. O'Neill.
Fuck, man. Call me Mickey.
It's not Irish. It's not English.
How are you?
Fair, what is my kindness for the horses, you know?
It's just pikey.
If you want to stop watching clips and get deeper into it, people's biography is pretty good. And they have a lot of like 45 minutes to an hour videos of almost like all Hitler's commanders, like everybody. But they do it for all the countries, you know. But there's
Right.
lots of so the guys who were, you know, this guy ran this place and this guy ran that place and this guy was in charge of this, and then it's like his biography and how the was it the final order or something, wasn't it called something like that?
The Final Solution.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Again, I'm not really sure what to make of all of this. Obviously, these are super sensitive topics, so yeah, it's tough to have a conversation, I think, with most people about these things.
It's not that all that shit didn't happen. It's more to the story than we were ever possibly told. It's just more to it.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as the Japanese. It was a surprise attack. We have to go save the day because Hitler is a raving madman.
Well, again, they knew about the Pearl Harbor attack. They knew about it days in
Oh,
advance, and they
stop.
allowed it to happen.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we
Yeah.
were told. Yeah.
I don't know. And like I said, the pieces of the puzzle they just don't fit for me. Some of them do, and some of them don't.
There's not like there's battles of Auschwitz, you know what I mean? So like when I'm watching or reading about the history, I don't like read like when I read about like the French Revolution, right, with Napoleon and shit, you know, I can read a whole book on the Battle of Waterloo, right? And that's part of the war. I don't read books on the weird killing and shit. You know what I mean? That's just not my
Yeah.
thing. I don't want to get into that. I don't, you know what I mean?
Well, it's all disturbing to me, so I prefer to not read about stuff
Yeah,
like that
kind of
too.
stuff.
It
That kind of disturbs me. I like the politics and the maneuvering of the great game.
yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, you know, like the Holocaust stuff and all that, like that stuff is really it's painful for me to watch, as it should be for most people, you know. So yeah, kind of things like that. They just kind of lower my frequency, so I usually don't engage a whole lot. In any case, like I said, I'm not I'm not really sure, but I just know that a lot of the stuff they gave us is hogwash, like the Aryan race bit.
Like the like when you think about history, you're like, you know, how could a population think that way? You know, look at us right now.
Yeah.
Half of us think, half of us hate the other half, and then the other half just hates the other half. I guess I don't know, but I know the one half's pretty fucking angry right now.
Well, again, we kind of talked about that in the last episode, right?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I mean, you know,
It's
I don't
hard
know
to have.
what Trump's deal is, but obviously the other side is the corrupted machine. And a lot of people got duped by the corrupted machine and still are duped. You know, a lot of them are my family members. They just,
Well, Trump isn't
they don't
president
see
yet.
it.
A lot can happen. And there's also that clip of Jamie Raskin being like, "We won't let him because we can do the 14th."
Well, again, that's the whole hypocrisy, right? Where, you know, Trump has rigged the judicial system, / you guys are the ones that are actually trying to throw him in jail. Trump, you know, stole the election. Like, Trump doesn't have that. He doesn't even have that power.
It's
But-
actually kind of funny that I've seen a couple of people who would a few years ago or even 2 weeks ago would make fun of you for being an election denier, and now they're like, Elon Musk rigged it because the Starlink. It was
Again,
Starlink.
the hypocrisy.
It was Starlink.
So I did see that Elon had the results like early. I saw that on Joe Rogan. Now, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's because he rigged it." Maybe.
No,
I doubt
I
it.
saw the argument for that.
He
Like,
probably just has better polling numbers than. I mean, look at what happened with Yahoo, right? When we were watching it.
what time? Yeah, what time did like I was watching this on Breaking Points, and you know how Breaking Points can be, right? Especially Crystal, who's
Uh-huh.
very okay. So it was Sagar and Crystal, and even like based on the information they had, who they did a live election thing too,
Yeah.
right? But they knew when they signed off at 1:30 in the morning DC time that even though the results weren't in,
That Trump had
it
already won. Yeah.
was going to win. So even though Elon's like, I can do the math in my head, and based on this scenario, he's already won. I don't need to see California. I don't need to see Nevada. You know what I mean? I'm going home, going to bed.
Yeah.
So like him going home early is logical, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And again, we're following it on Yahoo and stuff. And yeah, Yahoo at like 4 a.m. my time, which is Pacific time, still didn't have the results in. And then I went on X and it was posted like 2 hours ago that he had won. I was like, what the hell? But so yeah, I think you could use that to explain maybe why Elon had already, known the winners, because the left-wing media, for lack of a better term, is just so incompetent, or they're just simply not being honest, that they took much longer to get the results than maybe some of these other media platforms did.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't barely win, like he won.
It was a landslide.
He won.
I called that, by the way. Told you guys.
I don't know. I thought it was going to be closer. I honestly did.
I was surprised that it was close as it was. I even said that when we were in our last episode when we were recording. I did not even expect it to be that close. But yeah,
Well, the debt is about to be 36 trillion. It's like 35.98 right now. So it'll probably be by the end of the week or the beginning of next week. It'll probably be at it.
Well, hopefully Doge can help fix that.
I posted on my Facebook a couple of videos before the election, a couple of videos after, that were about it doesn't matter who wins, these problems are coming. And then the other ones were like, now it doesn't matter that Trump won because these problems are still coming. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's got a big shit sandwich coming his way.
Yeah.
With that debt and the hard cuts that need to be made. And I can tell you this, that if anybody cuts Social Security, that party's not winning next time. You know what I mean? But it's got to be compared to what we spent last year, compared to what total spending and what came in taxes, we would have to cut 30% total of funding just to break even on the money that came in.
I don't really have a lot of knowledge on this, so yeah, I don't know much about it.
More money printing.
I just know our economy's in the shitter, and if we don't do something about it soon, it's going to collapse. That's all I know.
And they just kept saying the economy's good. Like, no, it's good.
Oh, they were saying that up until about 4 or 5 months ago, and then all of a sudden, oh, if I get elected, I'm going to fix it. Wait, you just said last week it was great. What?
That's humble. Yeah, exactly. You can't be
just more hypocrisy from these people. And some people, unfortunately, or a lot of people, unfortunately, are still drinking that Kool-Aid. It's baffling to me.
People are like, don't even want to be friends with you.
Well, again, it's funny because they call Trump and his, the whole everybody who voted for Trump these extreme right-wing fascists. Wait, fascists? Like, you guys are the ones that are singling people out and cutting people off and trying to cancel people because their beliefs don't align with yours or because they voted for somebody that you don't like. Like, how is that democratic in any way possible?
Because you sold your soul and voted for the devil. That's basically the argument.
It's garbage. It's garbage. You should just not use the term fascism or any of that stuff if that's your take on it, And especially if you're willing to if you're willing to cut out family members or loved ones or longtime friends based on their political decision to vote for somebody, that says a whole lot about you, And also, I would say that that's really sad that you've allowed the media, to manipulate your mind to cut off people that you've known your entire life that you love and care about because of a political bias. That's fucked, man. Especially if that's what you did.
Yeah, like how is it even possible for you to be right all the time and the other side to be wrong all the time? You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things I know. There's some things I don't know. And there's a whole lot of shit that I don't even know that I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the popular vote was won by Donald Trump. So again, when people come out and start saying this stuff, and all y'all are fascists. Wait, so more than half the country's fascist? Is that what you're saying? Doesn't make sense.
Do you think he's gonna make it to January 20th or 22nd, whatever it is?
Why, you think they're going to try to kill him again?
Or they're
It's a
gonna
possibility.
or they're gonna pull whatever Jamie Raskin was talking about when they said that they can use the 14th Amendment for something.
I don't know enough about it to comment
Yeah,
on that.
I remember it had something to do with Jamie Raskin, and I only remember that dude because he was my congressman in Silver Spring. But he's one of the big time Democrats in the House. He was the January 6th main guy who fucked over all those people. But there's like a video of him with other people sitting around talking to the interviewer, and they ask him like, it's a couple of months ago, like
I
at least.
posted the article because we were talking about it in the last episode.
All
Or
right,
I
cool.
showed a clip of it, I think, like a picture of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
but-
hear him speak, but I briefly skimmed over the article to get what you were saying.
I mean, he could just be full of shit. I don't know because I don't know the argument, but
I don't know enough about it. I heard something interesting about the Rubio pick from Trump. Again, I don't know if this is true or if this is going to happen, but you know how everybody's upset that people appointed Rubio Secretary of State or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, somebody suggested that this could be like a coup against Marco Rubio because if Trump now hires him, right, Marco Rubio leaves the Senate, right, or
Mhm.
wherever he's a part of, whatever political position he holds.
He's a senator.
Right. So Trump can then next week fire him, and now Rubio can't even get his Senate position back. So I don't know if that's the game. It's a bit of a stretch, to be honest, but it's
It
possible.
can't work because then why wouldn't you just do that to everyone that was you clean house? It'd like be a purge like Stalin.
I don't know.
Instead of shooting them, you find some loophole and get them all out.
I don't know. But it was an interesting theory that somebody proposed the other day. Whether it's true or whether it happens or not, I doubt it, but maybe. I don't really know what's going on. It's like we said earlier, a couple of his picks have been very suspect. A couple of his picks we're all thrilled about, or at least I think we're thrilled about.
Again, it's just the two right now. Well, I mean, I guess if you count again the RFK thing and then the
Tulsi,
the Vivek and Elon and the SecDef.
Yeah,
But
and
that's-
I like Gates too. So
He pissed me off when last year they had to do with the Ukraine funding, and they got rid of the ranking Republican in the House because they were like, "This is bullshit that we just vote all these laws at once." Kind of like what Thomas Massey was bitching about a couple of months, like last month.
you mean when he got the speaker removed?
Yeah, but he got the
McCarthy?
speaker- Yeah, and then they were like, "We're not going to do this. One vote passes 100 funding things at once. We're going to do it separately." And then the next bill that came up was 100 votes at once.
Yeah, but I don't think that was Gates' fault, to be fair, because he wanted that other dude to be speaker, but he kept getting voted out. So
Yeah,
ultimately,
they-
they ran with Mike Johnson, who obviously turned out to be the wrong choice because he seems very much like a swamp creature to me.
Yeah, he sucks.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't think. I think the deep state blocked him. I think he was trying to make some moves. He got blocked, and then they installed Johnson, and this is what we're working with for now.
I don't know anything about the guy who won Senate and won the hidden election, which I didn't like, the behind closed doors private ballot. So you don't know who voted for the guy.
Oh, that guy Thune.
Thune, yeah.
Somebody leaked the votes. They're on Twitter, so you can see who voted for who.
Good.
Yeah, that's really what it should be if we're going to be doing something like that. But yeah, I think that was another attempt from the deep state to block. Because I've been bashing Rick Scott for years, but apparently everybody that, or I should say credible people that I follow wanted Rick Scott. So maybe I should shut the hell up, and maybe Rick Scott, would have been the best option. But apparently he didn't get the job. So I know your dad likes him. I know that much.
Yeah, when I was home over the summer, my dad got a telemarketing call from someone from Rick Scott's office. And you know how my dad is. My parents still answer their original phone number, which never stops ringing because of fucking telemarketers, dude.
I think I actually remember it. Maybe.
So so my dad picks it up and he's like, and he starts talking to the girl, and I was like, "How does she feel about the Federal Reserve?" And my dad handed me the phone, and I started fucking with her. I was like, "How's Tim Scott?" I'm like, "How's Rick Scott feel about this? How's he feel about that?" I'm like, "Did you know about this?"
Well, I got you on the phone. Let me just tell you a couple quick stories. You got some time?
Well, it's funny because like I interned at Congress, so I kind of know a little bit about that shit. And plus, I helped with a phone bank once. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, this is fun for you. I'm like, you really want to call people up? I'm like, at least I'm nice. You know, I can't imagine because when I interned down in Congress and I had to answer the phone and shit, you know, some people you pick that thing up, they're just like blah 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 blah. You hate America. I'm like, I don't hate America. You know, I've just talked on the way I normally talk to people, like being all sarcastic and shit.
Right.
Some people would just call and fucking yell.
Yeah.
And then there was this one lady who she would call all the time. She would call just to say hello. She's like, I was watching Fox News and I saw this. And I was like, I forget her name, but I was like, okay, Mrs. Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, you don't have to write that down. You don't have to leave a message. I'll call you back later. And I was like, okay. Because when someone calls, like if you call and you're like, I vote no on 16, you know what I mean? Then I put a little note. Someone called no on 16, enter. So like at the end of the day, the congressman can look at the sheet of paper and be like, there was 1,000 emails, hypothetically, and they're all divided into these categories. And a lot of people called about these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's not like he gets everybody's message, but he gets in sort of a way he does. You know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of cool. But it was when I was down there, he wasn't like a security guy. He was rare diseases and a lot of something about white nose disease for bats that's screwing up an important bat species in the Northeast. So again, this is 2012, 2013. So it was when we first went into Syria. That was fun. A lot of Syria calls.
Well, that would have been during Obama's term, so that makes total sense.
It was when Ted Cruz shut down the government. I was right there. Motherfucker bumped into me in the hallway. I was trying to get at the flag room.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. How all of this plays out going forward. It's
yeah, it's
I don't know.
halftime for the game. So
I mean, I'm
guess
happy
that's it.
Trump won, but I'm not really happy. I'm like, because I really am. I'm kind of on edge right now. I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's kind of you're almost like you're kind of waiting for a shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Why
Plus, I
isn't
feel
that-
like the deep state's been really quiet. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
What are y'all doing? Why are you guys being so quiet over there?
Are they planning something? Did they just give up?
There's no way they just gave up. It
Maybe
either
that's-
tells me that they are planning something, or Trump has been a member of the deep state the entire time, and the joke's on all of us. I don't know. That's
I heard
where
a
I'm
funny
at.
story years ago that when George W. Bush won and took over for Clinton, that the staffers took all the W's off the keyboards when they left.
That's kind of funny,
It's
actually.
kind of funny, right?
That is funny.
I respect that move.
Yeah, it's a douche move, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it is.
All right. On that note, it's halftime, and I got work tomorrow.
All right, word. Let's cut it here.
All right.
Yeah, I have some stuff, but I'll bring it up next time. It's not like time
Give me some
sensitive.
clips too. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like and share if you even made it this far in the video. If you did, I thank you. If you didn't, I guess you'll never know this anyway. So suck my ass. All right, later.
On that note.
Jonathan! Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I don't know what came over me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.